Okay, so this is Lou Martin, and I am here with my charming and fully coiffed and newly headphoned friend, Mia Sarah Williams. Mia, hi, my friend.
Hi, how are you, Lou? Thanks for
Good.
having me.
Thank you. Thank you for braving the wilds of internet and Facebook land one more time. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
so we wanted to kind of chat about how we're all dancing with the unknown and how, as therapists and healers and intuitives and caring coaches and all that, how you're navigating these turbulent times. How's that for a softball question?
Beautiful,
Thank
beautiful.
you. Thank you.
I'm navigating them really well at this point. That doesn't mean I haven't had up and down the kind of the peaks and troughs sort of thing. But for the most part, it's been a really amazing time for me.
Great.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing.
Well, let's hear about that. How have
Okay.
you? Yes. Dazzle me with your insights. How have you found you're amazing? Yeah.
Well, my initial reaction actually was I went into a sort of an overdrive place and felt that I had to be really productive during this time. And I was on a couple of courses and I was really starting to feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And one day I just kind of thought, okay, stop. There's nobody, absolutely nobody putting pressure on you to produce something during this time.
Yes.
Myself.
Right.
And yeah, and I really saw that. There was nobody waiting for anything that I was going to do. So I dropped everything and I just thought, okay, I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to do absolutely nothing. And
Good.
within that space of stopping and giving myself permission to do nothing, creativity started to flow. And that was
Right.
so beautiful. But I really had to let everything go.
Sure. Sure.
And so I wrote an ebook.
Wow. Yes.
And
I've been
yeah,
promoting that gladly.
good,
Haven't read it
good.
yet, but I've been
Yeah.
sharing it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really lovely. It's aimed at women who are busy, and I think that's most women. We always seem to be busy in one way or another.
Yes.
And it's just all about the art of relaxation. But
Great.
it came through very easily when I stopped trying to push things.
Yeah.
And so from a personal perspective, there's been lots of meeting myself. There's been
Beautiful.
the meeting of Kali, for those of you who know Kali.
Yes.
Who is
Yes.
that fierce, passionate goddess. And so old angers and old hurts have risen, but I have felt really that this is the time for all of that. This is the time to allow the feelings that come to the surface that have been
Sure.
buried for so long. So
Yeah.
it's been very refreshing in that respect.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, and I've been teaching.
Right.
I'm teaching a few classes and they're free.
Okay.
And that's such a joy as well to be not concerned about numbers or the amount of money coming in from them, to be just gifting them. And I'm loving that.
Yes.
Really loving that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still working with clients. I have a few clients, and again, they're paying by donation, so there's nothing
Yeah.
set in stone around it.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same philosophy, offer it and accept what is comfortable and be grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah, and it's really lovely, and I think that's part of what all this is about. There's a real essence for me of self-care in this, and so me caring for myself means there has to be no pressure,
Right.
and that being kind. So just offering something takes the pressure off for me, that it's just offered on that basis.
Yes. Yes.
And it's really lovely, and I'm really enjoying that. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's such a great need for the things that we do, I think, right now. And it's great not put it in the positive. It's great finding ways that work in order to share what we care about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for the mediums we have, such as, I haven't used this one before, but Zoom and things like that. I mean, we're really blessed to be able to continue a communication with the outside world.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah, brilliant. Well, tell us a little bit about the work that you do with working with clients one-on-one. if you like. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So my work has moved into a place where I'm actually calling it the Mia method, and it's a culmination of all the various different modalities, I suppose, that I've learned over the years, and sort of cherry picking the ones that have really worked for me on my own personal journey, because they're the things I can really stand over.
Mm.
So it's actually keeping things very, very simple. So basically what I'm doing is teaching people how to use the Mia method, and use the particular things that I've put together. However, if there's anything in the way of them using that, so the method is all about learning how to relax fully into yourself.
Beautiful.
Should there be a trauma or experiences in the way of that, then I work with people one-to-one. And I'm still using, I suppose, for me, the havening technique has been just so incredible, and I see such changes in people when I use it.
Okay.
So that's my go-to tool when I work with people on a one-to-one basis.
Okay, honey. I know nothing of that. Can you talk about that a little bit? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the havening techniques was developed by two New York doctors called the Rudins. They're brothers. Well, actually, one is a dentist and the other is a GP.
Of course.
And it's, I suppose it's close to the closest modality that I can think of is like EFT tapping.
Yeah.
But it's using a different movement and different language. So we're using the language of NLP.
Okay.
And basically what we're doing is we're looking for stored things in the amygdala that are having an impact on your life today.
And that's the fight and flight part of the brain, the reptile brain?
Yeah, and it's just where we tend to, we take in through our senses and then we hold the information in the amygdala. And as you know, like stuff that happens in childhood or teenage years or a car accident or anything that happens can have an impact on you, a lifelong impact.
Sure.
Unless we find a way of shaking it off in the way that animals in the wild do. You know, you
Right.
see a zebra is chased and he shakes it off. He's not afraid to go out and eat grass again.
Right.
Whereas for us, we're afraid to do certain things again, or we end up filled with anxiety and stuff.
Yeah.
So basically what it does is we give rise to the story, we bring it up. You don't actually even need the story itself. You can just have the feeling.
Okay.
You could say to me, okay, something happened when I was 5, and I can say to you, okay, let's go there. You can go there in your mind. You don't have to tell me what happened if you don't want to.
Right.
Feeling arises, and then I start to put in the havening touch after the feeling has arisen. And the havening touch is shoulders to elbows. So I'll be doing this to the client and their face, touching their face and their hands. However, it works really well via Zoom because the client, just as I did there, can do it themselves.
Right.
And I mirror them.
Beautiful.
And then during that time, the language is it's the language of maybe NLP or hypnosis, where you distract them and take them somewhere else.
Oh,
okay. And the amazing thing that happens is when you come back to the memory after several rounds of this, it has either changed completely, or you might just say it was a father-daughter situation where the daughter or the father got angry. When we go back to the memory, she might say, oh, he's not in the room now, or there's a great distance between us, or there's a light around it, or so it'll have changed in some way or other, and the trauma will have been removed.
Very good. Very good.
And
I like it. Yeah.
What I love about it is there's a real hard science behind it. So if I have a client who's in any way skeptical, I can just say, look, go to havening.org, look up the science, or I can, in my pidgin science language, can go through it with them.
Sure.
But people tend to really appreciate that there is a really hard science behind it.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And it's such a lovely, gentle way of working with trauma.
Yes.
And working, and even with just present day emotions that may not even be related to past traumas. Yeah.
Sure. Fascinating. Yeah, I'll definitely have to look into more of that and learn more about that. Yeah.
Have a look at havening.org. It's a great site. Yeah. And these guys they're great. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, I'm aside from the channeling and the counseling, and working intuitively, which I'm sure every healer is working on all those levels as well, like yourself. EFT, of course, has been really helpful as well. And as you say, the challenge is to find to meet people where they're at and to earn their trust so that they're willing to feel vulnerable.
Yes,
Yeah, you know, we can
absolutely.
create and sustain some intimacy so that whatever is there can feel safe to come up and
Yeah,
be reprogrammed or you know,
yeah. And
re-perspected.
that's what's amazing about this time is that people are able to do that with, connect in this way through
Sure.
Zoom. And I'm like, oh, wow, it's still
Yeah.
working just as well.
Yeah. It saves on car trips and
It does, it
yeah.
does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Wonderful. Well,
Mm.
can we that's gorgeous. My sense now is let's move the lens back a little bit, you and I, and can we just talk about feelings about the future and our own personal kind of roadmap?
Mm.
This is what I think everyone
Yeah,
is dealing with a lot right now, you know, is where are we
yeah.
going and how do we get there?
I suppose, to be honest with you, Lou, I haven't allowed myself to think about the future. I'm very much in the present at the moment, just because of the reality I'm in. I'm in such a blessed place. I live by the lake, and when this all kicked off, I had been feeling quite low prior to it, and I had started doing the Wim Hof method.
Yes.
If you've come across that,
Yes.
with a view to lifting my mood,
Yes.
and it has done exactly that. So
Sure. Sure.
I'm so immersed in nature. I mean, I'm in the lake every day swimming.
Beautiful.
I'm out walking. I am engaging with my children, and I've made some choices, personal choices around reconnection and spending time with my children that we've all come to decisions together.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting time with family. So I don't have a lot of loss at the moment.
Great. Great.
I'm
Great.
missing cafes and bits and pieces. But in
Right.
terms of the future of the planet, I have no sense of worry, let's put it that way, or
Yes.
concern.
Yes.
Um, I don't like thinking about this going on a long time, but at the same time, I love what I'm seeing in terms of what's happening to nature. And I'm
Yes.
loving what I'm seeing in terms of what's happening for people.
Yeah.
At least those that I'm in contact with, and I'm not, as I say, I'm not in contact with vast amounts of people
Sure.
by any means.
Sure.
But within my own family and my children and my mother, and just been an incredible sort of coming home and realizing how resourceful we are, how
Mm,
resilient we are.
mm, mm.
Um, for some people, realizing what they have buried,
Yeah.
realizing the value of others and friendships.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
son came out here yesterday and was just longing to connect with his, people his own age, his friends.
Sure.
And he has a friend in Killaloo, and they did a social distance hangout yesterday.
Right.
And he was just so moved by the conversation they had. It was so rich.
Yes. Yes.
There was just no bullshit, pardon the expression, but
Right.
they went straight to their heart stuff and what they were really feeling.
Yes. Good. Good
And
one.
I
Yeah.
think, sorry, losing a headphone,
Okay.
wobbling too much. Um,
You're fine.
I think that's what we're going to see is more and more real deep connection between people, because
Yes.
I think they'll realize the small stuff isn't it,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know.
Yes. No, that's so well said. I had the pleasure of reconnecting with my friends from high school Sunday night, about a dozen of us on a Zoom call, and one of whom I had not seen literally since high school, which for me is 44 years ago. And
Wow.
oh my God, it was such a feast, like you're saying there with your son, of sincerity and appreciation and great humor. And just, we're all so grateful for the people that we can really open our hearts to and connect with at this time.
Mm,
You
mm.
know,
And I don't know, is that across the board? I'm not looking at media too much. I can listen to the news sometimes on my way over from my swim in the car, but overall, I'm not really hearing news. So I would imagine there is fear out there, but it's certainly not in my reality at
Yeah,
the moment.
yeah, yeah. Well, the news is pretty much focused on what isn't working and you know what's
Mm.
happening. That's a problem, of course. But you know, I mean, again, I feel like this is the divine timing of getting to reconnect with your good self, my friend.
Yeah.
You know, because you know, as I was saying to you, you know, you are definitely one of the most conscious and loving people I have ever met. I'm happy to say that. It's true, true, true. And same with thank you, and same with our buddy Clive. And I'll never forget, I still have the pictures on my wall here of the time you two came
Oh,
out and you read my book from cover to cover. You asked
yes.
brilliant questions. You treated me like a celebrity. I had just such a lovely time. And but yeah, it's like Mia, you know, I feel like the people that we know in our lives at this time that are dear to us, you know, are there for a good reason. And it certainly isn't everyone's experience of feeling safer or more honest with ourselves, or more deeply sitting with our stuff to heal it and to move through it. A lot of people are struggling in a lot of fear and confusion.
Yeah, and I absolutely, hope I don't come across aloof in any way. I
Not
think the
yet.
way I'm, the way I'm feeling is my general. It comes from, I suppose, my faith and my trust in a bigger picture.
Amen.
And yeah, and I'm just very grateful that I have that, and I know that that's not the case for everybody.
Sure,
And
sure.
we were in, I suppose, touched by COVID within our own family.
Were
My
you?
daughter's boyfriend had it and was in
Okay.
isolation for 3 weeks.
Okay.
And even within that, there was no fear. So and that just comes from faith. There's almost a knowing that we're okay and everything is okay.
Yeah. 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 That's a
But
gift we give to ourselves, I'd say.
yeah, but I don't know how I'd be if there was somebody and it was fatal, and so
Sure.
I
Sure.
can't, put myself in somebody else's shoes. I'm sure it must be horrendous if that's the experience that you're having at this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. My girlfriend in England has had it for over 2 months now, and it's been a considerable source of strain.
Yeah,
You know, of course. But like yourself, I have the knowing that all will be well, and she's done amazingly well with dealing with everything, continuing to move through it. And we've also had, you know, healers work with her, and people pray for her, and other people that have been going through challenges. So all of that is extremely important to me. And you know, like you're saying, I've been living online now, you know, for 7 years, I think, something like this.
yeah,
So it wasn't a huge shift in my movie. I got this massive iMac here a year ago, I think, this month, and so that was good timing. But I want to say again, my friend, community and a sense of people of like mind and like spirits, you know, supporting each other, being there for each other, and helping helping the world to see there are better choices to make. You know.
absolutely, absolutely. I put a prayer out there on my Facebook page the other day, written by White Eagle, a Hopi Indian.
Yes.
All right, yeah, White Eagle, that's his name. I want to make sure I get that right.
Yeah.
But it was really incredible in terms of using this time. And that's what I would say to anybody who's struggling, really to use the time to heal yourself. Forget about everybody else. Just really take care of yourself. Look at your own story, give yourself the comfort that you might need around aspects of your own story, and pray. And the other thing that he mentioned was taking care of your house, your home,
Yeah.
which is something, again, that's part of the Mia method. And for me,
Good.
it has been an incredible therapy, and I see it working for other people. And it's very, very simple.
Yeah.
It just means really respecting, your little castle. It can be big or small, it doesn't really matter.
Sure.
But
Sure.
and then that kind of transpires down to taking care of your body, which is the other thing he mentioned. Like, eat good food,
Yeah.
and take
Yeah.
care of your immune system. And
Yeah.
this, this body that you're in for this lifetime, look after it, be good to it.
Yes, yes,
And it doesn't mean that you don't have treats or nice things there, but there's something. I'm getting great joy out of, I suppose, taking care of myself during this time, and
yeah,
I've time to cook well, and I've time to eat well, and I've time to do the juices and the smoothies, and
yeah.
we're growing veg here and things like that, and it's just fantastic to have this time.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know,
Amen to that. Yes. Yeah. Someone said, we're not, we're not coming back out into the world. We're going back into ourselves. We're
yes,
coming into
yeah,
a new self and a
yeah,
new, like you're saying, a respect and a valuing of our health, our homes, our relationships,
mm,
our community. We're taking nothing for granted, and we're being asked, like you're saying, to really not distract ourselves and to sit with what
yeah,
is and to be with what is, and to let go of what most of us have been so programmed and driven by the world and our relationship to it, that this has been a divine intervention, really,
absolutely,
to get us to slow down, huh?
yeah. Incredible rebirth. Incredible
Yeah,
rebirth, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful.
We usually hear, planes going back and forth here every day. Now, not in a disturbing way, but that said, there's none, there's just
Yeah,
none. So,
yeah.
you can just imagine how Mother Earth must be feeling, just the joy.
Yes, yes.
Um, and I don't know. Yeah, I think it's quite exquisite. And I've noticed I keep seeing little things that I haven't seen since I was a child. Now, they didn't go anywhere, I did. So I'm
Okay.
seeing like ladybirds and these little flowers called scarlet pimpernels. They're really tiny little orangey red flowers.
Right.
And, I just remember them from my childhood, and then they somehow disappeared because I had disappeared. I had gone, into the busyness of life. So it's
Sure,
so
sure.
lovely seeing all these, um, these things from my childhood. It's
Absolutely.
special.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, yes. Magical.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it's beautiful. And Mother Earth is so essential to the quality of our life, how we treat her or don't
Mm.
treat her. And yeah, this has just been months of no planes, no cars, and the Earth really coming back into her fullness. And in the northern hemisphere with spring coming, it's quite extraordinary. A great gift, a priceless
Yeah.
gift. Yeah,
I mean, and to think, had we asked world leaders, 10 months ago, can we shut everything down? Can we
sure,
just stop? Let's just stop for 6 months. I mean, it would have been like,
sure,
no
sure.
way, we can't, but we just can't. And here we are doing it.
Yes,
And,
yes,
and there's money available and there's payments being made and people are
yes.
being taken care of. And it's extraordinary. And I'm even seeing that it's bringing out, the best in our politicians as well. There's a goodness and a kindness coming through and a real humanitarianism,
Yes.
um, that maybe, I have no idea. I have no desire to be a politician. I have no idea what it must be like.
Yeah.
But maybe there wasn't always room and space to express it in the way that they can now, their humanness.
Yeah.
And, probably the things that brought them into politics in the very first place, because usually people who enter into politics have a great desire for change.
Sure.
And,
Sure.
it gets lost with parties. And
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so I think there's something in that as well that's quite
Oh
special.
yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. No,
Mm.
yeah. Sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, that's
Okay, dear. Yeah, just I'm so grateful, honestly, being in Ireland compared to Joanne in the UK, and of course my family and friends in the States, where it is not as
okay.
no, it's not as compassionate and as visionary and as proactive as it is here. And with Varadka being a medical doctor, whoa, isn't that interesting? And
Mm.
his partner is in healthcare and his whole family's in healthcare, and it's like, wow, that's ideal. So yeah, I think we've had some real blessings that the other countries are still struggling to catch up to, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's great that Ireland can be an example of what is possible,
absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
as it has been many times. Ireland and the Irish. Here's to it. Yeah, thank you. I quite agree with you. I'm very happy to be a guest
Mm,
in this house, you know, believe me.
mm.
Yeah. So what else would you like to chat about here? Put the ball in your
Anything.
court.
Goodness me. I suppose coming back to the the idea of people feeling, I'm going to make an assumption that there are other people out there that feel the kind of pressure I was feeling
Sure.
to be having to do or create during this time.
Sure.
And
Otherwise, where's your worth if you're not creating like a maniac?
yeah, and I
Right?
would really like to, I suppose, advocate that whole idea of non-doing and the importance of it,
Yeah.
and resting into the feminine, that whole aspect of non-doing.
Yeah.
Because believe, the world is going to go back to something. It'll never go back to what it was, but it is going to go to something, and there will most likely be doing again.
Yes, I think that's a safe
So
bet.
yeah. So, and I know there are many people that are still working, and I know there are
Yeah.
many people that are juggling working with children at home and going on
Sure.
conference calls and having their, 3-year-old in the background of this conference call, etc.
Yes.
However, for those of you that, might be feeling pressure to do and don't necessarily have to do, I would say 100% stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop. Read that novel. Go
Yeah.
for those walks.
Hmm.
Dare to get in the water.
Hmm.
You have time now to do the yoga that you thought you hadn't time to do in the morning, or do the meditation, and just stop, or don't even do those things. I find even sometimes I'll have such a program for myself that, okay, I'm going to do a Joe Dispenza meditation. I'm going to read my Course in Miracles. I'm going to
Right.
do this.
Right.
And the
I
biggest
relate.
gift I can give myself actually is to say, actually, no, I'm going to do nothing. I'm not even going to do those.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that I feel very passionate about at the moment, actually, is
Yeah.
non-doing.
Yeah. 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 Brilliant. Brilliant.
Because
Yeah.
I can see even when we get opportunities for that, we still feel some sort of pressure or other.
Yes, well, darling, you're saying it very well. And can I say, frankly, I mean, just to push the boat out here, it's often guilt,
Yeah.
that keeps people running, and not feeling good enough. And if anyone, particularly women and moms,
Mm.
women who are moms and all that. So, yes, can you give yourself, like our lovely friend Mia is doing here, permission just to get reacquainted with who you are?
Yeah.
Remember what life is capable of being for us without pushing and
Yeah.
pressuring ourselves.
Yeah. And of course, one of the fears of non-doing is that meeting of yourself, but yourself never goes away. So we can spend all our time trying to push it to the back of our mind, which is hilarious because we kind of don't realize the back of our mind is just here. So it's with us walking around all the time.
Not too far away. Yes.
Not too far away. So the avoidance of that is nearly more exhausting than the meeting and allowing the stuff to come up, because even if it comes up and it's painful, it'll be brief. It'll
Yes.
just come, it'll be seen, and it's more like getting a sharp blow than having a long lingering pain all the time
Yeah.
at the back of
Yeah.
your head.
Yeah. That's
So,
right.
if you're avoiding that, I would still, find the courage in you just to do that. But as you say, it's not even always that. I mean, we've been brought up with expressions like, I can't think of exactly how it goes, but that one about idle hands, the devil will find
Yes.
the idle hands at
Idle hands are the devil's playground, I think.
playground or something like that.
An
Yeah.
idle mind is the devil's playground. I think.
Yeah, something like that. So we're always trying to busy it and fill it, Yap, 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 yap. Yeah, exactly.
Driving ourselves loopy.
Yeah, and that it's
Yeah.
just not okay to do nothing. We're just not brought up with that it's okay just to lie on the couch and look at the ceiling, maybe.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, yeah, and honestly, I mean, this is just to continue with what you're saying, that if we don't find the good ways of stopping, then life will force us to find the hard ways of stopping.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You
I
know,
have a friend, and I don't know whether she'll see this or not, but I'm sure she won't mind me sharing. There was one point in her life where she was so busy and she just really wanted time to stop. And she was visualizing hotel sheets, and she just said, "Oh, let me wake up between crisp white sheets in some beautiful room."
okay, here
And
it comes.
a week later, she found herself on a hospital ward between crisp white sheets.
Yes, and saying to the
You know?
ceiling, "This isn't exactly what I had in mind."
No,
Yes,
I was
to be
thinking more
clear.
5-star hotel. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So you do end up being forced to stop unless you choose to stop. That's really good, Lou. Actually, saying that.
Thank you.
And so the choosing it's just so lovely. And kids do it all the time if you watch them. They'll take a
Yeah,
break from playing with their toys and they'll just roll around on the floor and just
yeah,
make sounds. And,
yeah, yeah.
they're well able to sort of loll is the word, actually. That's such a
Yes,
lovely word. They can just loll
yes,
about.
yes, yes.
And my observation is even of busy mums, when there's one or two things that happen. Either they get time when the child is asleep and they have to clean the house, or they have to cook the dinner, or they have to wash clothes, or they have to prepare in some way. Or they get time and they choose to go on their phones because they feel they're missing out. So, and neither of those obviously is rest. But unfortunately, the latter, I understand it because we've become so attached to communicating via social media, etc. And we believe that this is the real world. And in some
Right.
respects, it is our world.
Yeah.
Um, but it's not restful, and it's not relaxation, and it's not non-doing.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Non-doing is taking the coffee and sitting looking out the window at nature and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
being. And
Yeah.
that's what replenishes, and that's what restores. And that's what gives rise to the creativity, because of course the creativity is the feminine. And that's what gives rise to our real,
Mm,
creativity.
mm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. We have to fill our own cup is the
yeah,
metaphor,
yeah, yeah.
first.
And that's,
Otherwise we have nothing to offer. Yeah.
yeah, the last chapter in the Mia method is called the China Cup concept.
Right.
And it's all about, I love China cups. So it's all about doing, taking time just to even use the things you like using and do the things and take out the good glasses and whatever it is, don't
Treat
put
yourself.
anything away. Treat yourself and
Yes.
just do what you love doing.
Yes.
Have
Yes.
fun.
Well, now you're saying the
Joy.
secret word. You see, fun and joy. This is truly. I mean, of course, everyone who listens to me hears me quote this, and I strive to live this to the best of my human ability every day. Abraham says the basis of life is freedom, and the purpose of life is joy.
Yeah.
And if you don't have joy, you really have very little to offer the world.
Yeah.
And like Lazara says, happiness is the meeting of your needs, and joy is the meeting of your desires. So, like with your friend in the hospital, a little fine tuning, and hopefully she's in a 5-star hotel somewhere.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
right.
Absolutely. And I think it's the recognition that, okay, it's bad analogy at the moment saying that the world never stops. But in general, insofar as actually this, yes, there is still illness and there are people dying. That does not mean you can't be happy. And I
Yeah,
think you can't find your joy, because true joy is just not impacted by the waves or the wobbliness or this, as Marion Williamson does this, like the real joy is not impacted by that.
right, right.
It has no effect.
Yes. Well, I'm a big Marianne Williamson fan, and so you're melting my heart here. But yeah, they're mutually exclusive realities. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, now we're kind of getting into something that I'm being shown a lot, which is there is a polarization of reality that's happening right now, right? And this truly is the rebirth of the divine feminine from that state of being. That you're not going to be all distracted and busy and in your lovely little heads, everyone. You've got to sit in your chair, at the beach, at the lake, in front of the fire, whatever, and really come back into your body, really feel your feelings. And for some people, like you said, it's not easy.
It's funny, the other day when I had that Callie moment when she rose, and it was not pretty. And it was
good.
the aspect of the feminine that we often try to deny. You know, she was roaring and screaming, and it was blood curdling, and it was, you know,
Good.
I'd actually been working with that energy and looking for passion in my life, but I didn't expect it to come in the form of rage.
Right.
And what was interesting was I took myself off into nature and spent time, and I was able to just close my eyes and go, oh, it's gone. You know, it just wasn't there. There was
Mhm.
this stillness in me.
Mhm.
And I thought, okay, the stillness is there now. I can go home, because I was angry at life.
Yeah.
So anyway, I drove my car home and parked up outside.
Right.
And, you know, the stillness was gone. It was
Right.
gone. I knew. I was like, I thought, oh my God, I thought I was finished, and I could feel the rage rising in me again.
Right.
But what's really interesting is when you see that, when I closed my eyes and stopped, it wasn't gone.
Yeah.
So we really do live in these, you know, two places, and there's a choice.
Yeah.
You know,
Always.
there is an absolute choice. Do I go here or do I go there?
Yeah.
And actually, sometimes going into the fullness of the rage and what's feeling more of it gives you, I suppose, more time than afterwards to know the fullness of the other. Does that make sense?
Oh,
so
God,
it's almost like having to, okay, the rage isn't over. I need to acknowledge that it's not over, even though I know it's not real. I'm in a play now. You know, I'm in that play.
I'm with you to that sentence, frankly, my friend. I'm all the way with you, 100% with you, darling, until that very sentence. And I just would maybe chew on that. But the thing is, I love what you're saying. You know, you've heard me, you read the invitation. So the rule book is women are allowed to be sad, but can't be angry. And men are allowed to be angry, but can't be sad. So with us men, when we grieve, we open our hearts and we soften, and we get in touch with our compassion and feminine energy of empathy and emotion and spirit. When women, like we're talking about here, you know, Sekhmet, Kali, the righteous woman warrior who is, you know, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, as Shakespeare said. So when that righteous rage is bubbling up, let it loose. That's
And I mean, she cuts through everything.
Can I one last point, and then I want to hear what you have to say. It's the hurt that's beneath the disowned or unacknowledged anger, you know, about a woman's self-worth and being valued or not. That, to me, like you're saying about passion is our purpose, and anger, fire, passion, purpose, they're all connected. And when the masculine part of us can speak up for our worth, this is not fair, this is not what you agreed, this is not what you promised, whatever, and we say that, then the worth comes blooming up again.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's sort of bottom line. I know in A Course in Miracles they say you can't have crucifixion without you can't have the resurrection without crucifixion. And
yes, so I'm glad you clarified that. Yes.
So that is the crucifixion. That is the meeting of the pain. That is the feeling every aspect of it.
Right.
You know, in the feminine, in the body. And, you know, then you can come back into this divine consciousness, which what was interesting for me, though, was the dance between the two, that I actually could, in fact, you know, come into the divine consciousness and then go, no, I'm not finished out there. I have to go right through this crucifixion. And, you know yourself when you're in emotional pain, that's what it feels like. It feels so intense. And to say it's not real is often feels really, when I say the play, I suppose I have that knowing myself, but I'm not undermining what I was feeling in any way or what anybody else might feeling, because it didn't feel like a play. And if you'd called it, you know, if you said it was a play while I was in the middle of it, I would have
cut loose on me. Yes, bless you. Well, because I love what we're saying here. I mean, this is why it's great to reconnect again, because we continue to find the same things on the journey and go, oh, look, isn't this interesting? I mean, emotional healing and feeling safe, loved, and supported. And you're describing it beautifully. You know, it's much better to face the fear, feel the feelings, to find your freedom. That's the way my guides put it, than it is to keep pushing it away, denying it, stuffing it, projecting it on others. Because my take on things is we've ended 3D. This is what all my teachers are saying. We've moved into 5D. So the patriarchy, the masculine dominance, done. Now we're in the feminine energy, the oneness, the synergy, the synchronicity, the tribalism, all of that. That's what's happening now. So we're done with presidents and popes and kings and queens. All that's out the window now. And it's about every woman and man for themselves to support each other, enlighten group consciousness. But it can only happen if we make the inner journey every day with honesty and humility. Otherwise, this thing, it gets in the way over and over again.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Got that off my chest. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think I recognized in my rage the other day as well, a very collective rage. It wasn't just about me. And it was about some aspects of patriarchy that I felt I probably was paying lip service to, or
that's a powerful phrase. Yes, I hear that.
That little bit of thing where things are at the back of your mind and every now and then you find a voice for them. But this was real. This came sort of, from a deep place inside my room. And I knew it wasn't just mine. It was a very collective sort of feeling.
Sure.
The beauty of the masculine then is that I was safe enough to do that. I was safe enough to do that in my home. And even though, Clive, and I know he's watching this, I know it's not easy, but if you do happen to be in a relationship, if the man can hold a space for that kind of rage, I knew I could take off in my car. I knew I could come back. I knew I could rant again. I was safe.
Yes.
And there's such a deepening and a growth, and it's a richness in that, when you're looking at couples. But even outside of that, just if you feel, it is important, I suppose, to feel safe to express like that.
Oh God, it's essential.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see more and more of it. What I would hate to see is the current masculine being blamed in any way for where we're at, because the men that are here now, I believe, have chosen to be here, and so they're here for this journey.
Sure.
So, they're up for whatever is coming.
God, we hope so.
Yeah. But it's not about moving into a place of blame. It's about teaching and learning from one another. And,
No, I support that 100%. It's beautifully said, Mia. We have to take responsibility, or we get to take responsibility, better said. And of course, the whole Me Too movement and all these things that were happening before the war of the virus began, was a lot of movement on the part of women supporting each other, overcoming trauma and attack and rape and all sorts of awful, terrible things. Soul-crushing experiences that they didn't feel that not only did these things happen, but there was no one in any position of trust and authority who would support them about the truth of their trauma. So thank you. So, that's an amen from the choir. So, we do have some cleaning up to do here, the men of the world, and it's going to be painful and it's going to be deep, because women have been truly mistreated and exploited brutally. And we're going to have to look at all that and take responsibility for our part in all that. But, saying that, if we're willing to do that, then yes, I'm sure that we can end the war of the sexes, and support each other to have more loving and more joyous relationships, no doubt. And I think we're learning this from our kids too, aren't we?
Absolutely.
The younger generation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they're incredible. I can't keep up with the amount of terms for sexuality and everything. I think they all have to be dropped, actually, because the new terms have me so, bamboozled.
Well, you have to catch me up. I didn't get the memo yet. Yeah.
Oh, I can't even remember half of them. But actually, I just wanted a point I wanted to make, I suppose, about patriarchy, that something that I think is really important. We've been watching, there's a lot of Jewish programs, Jewish Orthodox programs coming up on Netflix. I don't know if you've noticed.
Well, there's a series about a girl
unorthodox. So we watched that first, and then we watched this beautiful Israeli production called Shtizel. Shtizel, I think I'm pronouncing it. And yes, Mazel Tov.
Yes,
It is. I don't know as many as you.
Oh well,
Anyway,
I played Fiddler on the Roof in high school, so I learned a
okay.
few. Yes.
But it's a truly beautiful program, and it's a truly incredible insight into a patriarchal
Yes.
society.
Yes.
And
Which it is
well,
very, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The Orthodox Jews definitely. And I've been watching it, and every now and then I just get really angry. I'd be like that, why? And yet I can see such beauty in it, because I think sometimes we become so aligned to our beliefs, and they may not be right. And we saw
Sure.
that as well in what's that lovely French Revolution?
Les Miserables.
Yeah, where the character is so aligned to his belief in God and his righteousness, and he truly believes he's doing the right thing. When he's chasing the other guy, all over the world for
Yes.
however
Yes.
long. I can't think of their names right now.
Well, Jean
Uh,
Valjean and Inspector somebody. Yeah.
yeah. And I see the same in this Stiesel. I see the beauty in the men, and I see the nobleness and the true belief in many of them that they're doing the right thing. Now I also see the roguery and everything else,
Sure. Sure.
and I see the impact it has on the women. But so there is no room for harsh judgment into where we've come from. I think it is a time of us being able to speak up and be heard. I think that's really important.
Yes.
But I think the judgment is not ours to make. We
Sure.
are where we are.
Sure. Well, yes, my friend. I mean, we're both students of the course, and that is every day. Just put
Mm.
your put your heart on the stone and let us smooth down another layer.
Yeah,
Put your
yeah,
guilty, blamey, shamey, gamey mind, in the wash, and let us remind you of which way is up and how all this works. So
yeah,
it's very humbling. But yeah, the
yeah,
of course, judgment, anger, fear, guilt, shame, blame. They're all the wounded perception of fear, basically.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So as you and I have done our work, and many others, we have a space for grace, as my guides say.
Mm.
We have an ability to discern and detach from the dramas sometimes, based on our practice, like you were talking about, moving in and out of your rage, um, and like if you hadn't been going to see Clive, if you had been going somewhere else, you might have been able to leave that because you had
Yeah.
processed that, but he was still there representing whatever it was you were upset about with him and all of that. So it's kind of like you say, all of our relationships are mirrors of what we're working on inside. The text that I'm working with right now, that Joanne and I have been listening to, is Right Use of Will by DeRohan. Utterly amazing. It's literally God, like in the chorus, saying, "Okay, this is God. I'm coming through this channel. Here it comes," and talking about the price of denial in our lives and karma
Oh.
and how to heal denial. Literally,
Mm.
the whole. It's 6 hours audiobook on YouTube, and oh yeah, I'm going like, "Thank you, thank
Oh,
you, thank you."
please,
Yeah,
yeah, send it to me. Send it
yeah,
to me.
yeah.
Well, I'm totally smitten with Joe Dispenza at the moment. I was last year. I had started doing some of his stuff, and then he got thrown by the wayside, and I don't know what I started doing after that. But he's come back into my awareness through several people recently,
Yes,
and he's got a beautiful 2020 heart meditation, and I'm just loving it. There's nothing new. There's
yeah,
nothing new in any of these things
yeah, yeah.
that we're learning, but the delivery is different, and they're designed, I suppose, for maximum impact.
Sure.
And yeah, I'm really loving his work at the moment, I have to say.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's
yeah,
hugely popular, and yeah, I've looked at his videos. He's a like you were saying about the science earlier, the happening process and all that. He has a foot in each world. He was a scientist, and he healed himself through becoming in touch with his mysticism and his
yeah,
the power of spirit through his faith and belief and practice.
yeah.
You
And I
know.
think it's really important. I can see that now. I always had the faith side of things. And so I lacked an inquiring mind, actually, in some ways, because I just accepted a lot of things. And, you know, so it's quite I know, I just did though. I was brought up like.
Yes, of course, dear. Yes. Were you in
So,
Ireland? Were you a Catholic? Tell me more. Yes.
it was a nice non-questioning. I just never,
Sure.
you know,
Sure.
like I literally believed things, and I
Yeah.
still do. However,
Sure.
there's something lovely about, you know, getting a real deep understanding through science, you know, with different
Yeah.
modalities, I suppose, that I use. But I do find that when I start to go into the head, like last year, I was doing mind coaching and hypnosis, and
Right.
I found I struggled then because I can get very heady.
Sure.
Um, and I love learning. So,
Yeah.
you know, I have to really pull myself back down, you know,
Yeah.
out of my mind then when I've done courses like that, because I kind of detach
Sure. Sure. Well,
from
that's one of my out of my mind and into my heart. You
yeah.
see, that's yeah. Beautiful. I mean, again, hon, I feel that you and I deeply have this in common because, you know, with the channeling, you know, every day or praying or meditating, all of those things that I pretty much do every day in my life, and with all that's going on in the world and in my life right now, 2-3 times a day, every day, you know, I need that grounding in my emotional body and in my oneness with spirit and coming back to peace, you know, and yeah, I really do feel like, you know, this is the time that we've all been preparing for throughout this lifetime, for sure, and
Mm,
probably, certainly many others as well. So I personally want to be able to access that wisest and bravest, most loving part of me, so that I can call upon that when other people are losing the plot and need somebody to remind them that there's a way through
mm,
things.
mm. Yeah,
It,
absolutely.
you know, so it's like I say again, when we're talking about it, it's a gift we give to ourselves. My guides say you need to be willing to give to yourself what you're wanting life to give to you.
Yes.
So
Yes. I love that. You know, often when I've been working with women who would love to meet somebody, because that comes up for me, you know, they'd love to meet a partner, a life partner, and they'll often say, "Oh, I want somebody who will really take care of me and look after me and has got my back." And I'm thinking, darling, when you start to take care of yourself and love yourself, and when you get your back, you know, he's going to show up. That's when he's
that's
going to
it.
show up.
That's
But
it.
not, you know, it's not outside of you.
That's right.
Never outside of you.
You
It's
know,
like,
you say you're looking for someone who'll never weak but always strong to protect you and defend you, whether you are right or wrong. Someone who will die for you and more. It ain't me, babe. No, 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 it ain't me, babe. You know that one, right?
I do. I do.
Yeah, yeah. Just
Yeah. And it
lay a
is
little
those,
building on the conversation.
yeah, those
Yeah,
expectations, you know, and if you can't do that for yourself,
that's right. That's right. That's right.
yeah.
And it's a really deep subject. My girlfriend and I struggle with all these things, of course, just like every couple does on the planet. And yeah, we've been struggling today. I'll raise my hand here one more time. Um, you know, but the thing, what I see also is like often, like we're talking about masculine, feminine, you know, often men or women will expect or demand that the woman or man in their life be the feminine, be the masculine, that they deny within themselves. And that doesn't work, as we're saying here, that can't work.
No, really, in a way, it's like there's four in a relationship, you
That's
know,
right. That's
there's,
right. It's very crowded.
and yeah, and if we can get, if we can balance it within ourselves, it will balance on the outside. Or, you know, we can come
Yes,
fully into, you know, if I can choose to be fully in the form of the feminine and Clive can be fully in the form of the masculine, then the two can become one and it can work like that.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
But, you know, we're not always in the same place every day. We're ever changing and we
Sure.
always will be. And
Sure.
that's what we strive for, is to be that perfect balance. But you know, I'm not there yet anyway, I know that for
Uh,
sure.
yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's,
Likewise.
you know, it's why we're here. It's part of the fun. It's part of the
Yes.
game.
Yes. Totally. My guides say you don't get finished, you get better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
settle for better and don't worry about finished.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there's no perfection outside of love. And the paradoxes in love is that we can't receive more love than we're willing to give to ourselves, and we can't give more love to another than we're willing to receive in ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, as you're saying, there's like 4 in the couple, and you know, of course, the great thing is in this time, again, like we're saying, what an incredibly rich and powerful moment in human history we're living through right now. That we have all the resources that we have in terms of consciousness. Joe Dispenza, Course in Miracles, on and on and on and on. Marianne Williamson, you know, Neil Walsh, you name it, boom, 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 out there every day. You know, we are getting it. We are, you know, those who are looking are finding, and we are really, truly taking our power back. You know, and owning that we do have our own personal relationship to God, Source, Spirit, whatever name you like, that is unconditional, and we're learning how to open to that and to tune into that and to experience that. You know, I think that's really what we're called to invite people to understand. It's not very airy. It's quite possible. It's quite practical.
Mm. And I suppose listening to you there, just one more thing before I go, I had quite an interesting journey with always seeking teachers outside of myself. So even like the Joe Dispenzas and the Mujis and the Gangajis and, you know, all the great teachers that are out there.
Sure.
And through the experience of my teacher, Yogi Bhajan, a lot of revelations came out.
You bet.
Not so long ago. Not so long ago.
That's a nice term for it, but yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was an incredible cathartic experience for me, insofar as that it was the first time I recognized that I had spiritually bypassed a lot of things in my life.
Yeah.
So when these revelations came out, I decided to read each and every one of them.
Wow.
And I went through them with a fine-tooth comb, and I felt such pain, and I'm going to say trauma and anger and sadness and grief.
Betrayal.
And betrayal. And I really recognized as well this feeling of having been, I suppose, brainwashed again. And I think I had just about survived Catholicism, and now I was in this, you know,
you're progressing upward.
Yeah. So anyway, but I really wanted to, it was so important for me to honor the people that had been at the receiving end of heinous crimes. That's what I'm going to say. I mean, it's horrific.
Sure.
And I really wanted to witness and honor them and speak to them. And so I did. And I know my own community, I think, were quite surprised, because I was quite dramatic. I burnt all my books and everything. But for me, there was this huge, huge healing and this huge recognition of we are what we are looking for.
Yes.
We're it.
Yes.
You know, there is nothing really outside of us. And yes, there can be teachers and guides. But for me, I had to just drop everything. I closed the Course in Miracles. I put it away into another room. I put every learning, everything away. And I just thought, I have to find my relationship with Source within me. And I want nothing in the way of that.
Yes.
And so literally, you know, I was just sitting looking at the birds. And, you know, listening to them in the morning and watching the trees blowing and looking at the lake and seeing, you know, were there ripples on the lake or not. And that's what brought me home. So the reason I'm saying this is because there are so many people out there that are atheists. And you don't, because I'm on the cusp of it myself, I think, in a way, if that makes sense.
Sure. In
that I had to drop anything that was organized or came through some sort of a medium. And it's really been very, very refreshing for me.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and I am choosing to listen to Joe Dispenza now, but I'm hearing him from a completely different place.
Right.
A whole new place in me.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think to awaken in this world and to awaken from the dream, you need nothing. Nothing.
Right. No,
you're already it.
Right. That's right. You have everything within you that you're seeking to experience in the world. If it's possible for one, it's available to all, is the way my guides put it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, and darling, that's your your integrity, you know, to have such a moral, courageous, fearless, compassionate reaction to all of that abuse and hypocrisy that our brother there represented to so many people about all of this, lying and cheating and stealing from everyone he could. God love him. You know, it's given you that space to really come into a whole new chapter in your own growth. Like you're saying, I really see that in you, you know, and it's very beautiful and very inspiring. And God bless, especially for the women of the world, you know, to not be looking for someone else to tell you it's okay to trust yourself. Please trust yourselves, everyone, and see where that leads you, and see if things fit with what you know to be true. And if they don't, move on. You know, create that space for deeper healing. It's great. It's lovely. It's always lovely chatting with you, sweetheart. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, I can't improve on that. I think we left it right at the highlight there, at the high point on the mountain. Where would you like to send people to find you and your wonderful work?
Ooh, my new website.
Oh boy.
miasera.ie.
Okay.
Plain
Great.
and simple. And yeah, everything is there. Everything is there. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, sweetheart. Well, all my love, and I hope we'll have hugs in our future here, as well as other exciting adventures. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm dying for? Is a big dinner party and lots of people gathered together, and yeah.
Well, keep me in mind. I might be available.
I'm looking forward to.
That sounds great. That sounds great. Love to see you both. Brilliant, brilliant. All right. Okay. Peace and blessings to you and yours. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Well done.